All right, so I have finished Solo Leveling, season one, first 12 episodes, and I am pleasantly surprised. I watched the first two episodes when they first came out, which really should have been one episode, just like an hour long. And I was a little bit meh. So the concept didn't interest me that much. The idea being the main character of a video game. He is literally called the player, and he is the only one who gets stronger. So you're in a world where dungeons randomly open portals to dungeons. You go in, you clear the dungeon, beat the boss, collect a bunch of gems, monsters, defeat monsters, and if you don't beat the dungeon boss, those monsters will come out into the real world. So you have an organization of hunters, all different classes, from E to S. S being the best, E being essentially your step above a regular human. And they go in to those dungeons to clear the boss. The main character, Jinwoo, we're going with that, is an E ranked hunter. So he's very much injured all the time. His friend is a B tier hunter, and she's specialized in healing, so she's always healing him. And he gets in over his head, but eventually gets himself into a situation where the system has accepted him as a player, and now he can level up. So he does side challenges, he collects XP, he is a video game character. And there is nothing interesting about him, with the exception of he got some self-confidence issues, and at one point in time, like, the dungeon uses like vicious mockery to insult him and all his insecurities, which was really cool. I did not initially like the setting. I think it was a me thing. I very rarely go into full isekai, and when I do like other world anime, I prefer it being character is in that world pretty much full time. So to have him go back and forth between real world and dungeons, I thought that might be my issue. I also wasn't a big fan. This isn't my preferred animation style. It's beautiful-ish, not my style, but it is a very well execution of the manga that it's adapting. So the side-by-sides of the mediums look very well. Like, the execution is the style it's meant to be. It's just not the style I like. So I really didn't have much high hopes going into this, because characters are nothing throughout the entirety of the first season. The plot is character is a video game character and we're just watching him. But hey, I like watching video game walkthroughs, so I'm fine with that. And initially, the setting was something I did not enjoy. Did I enjoy this by the end of it? Yes, I would compare it to junk food television. Like, I'm having mindless entertainment, but it was entertaining. I definitely enjoyed myself. My favorite thing, surprisingly, being the world building and the world and setting that we're in, which I was not expecting. Because again, I didn't like the going back and forth between our world and dungeons. I really like it now. I especially like the world we're in being so accompanying and adapting to these random portals that are opening up. So between the different classifications of hunters and how they treat each other and how they see each other based on skill and strength level, how much hunting has been associated and brought into society, different families taking the risk of being hunters to support said families, the different guilds, politics involved, governments involvement, how one guild is trying to open up and poach hunters from other guilds. I like that. It's really cool. The mildest of mildest spoilers, you have like prisoners who want to reduce jail time, so agree to go on hunting missions in these dungeons in an attempt to reduce their jail time. Then you have other people not liking that prisoners are doing this and trying to work around that. You have different personalities that are drawn to this hunter association because they get to mindlessly kill things in dungeons. I greatly enjoyed the actual world that we're in. Different countries involvement that looks like there's going to come into bigger plays. So yeah, no. Normally I'm a character or plot-focused reader or watcher, and if one of those two things are lacking or one's not done exceptionally well, I'm probably going to drop a series. But for some reason, the world really worked. The action is fantastic, like so much entertainment in the fight scenes. I think it was episode 4 that I really started to say, okay, no, I'm enjoying myself with this. The main character, while very bland to me, does have motivation. He has some interesting, no he does not. I was going to say interesting character dynamics between his families. He barely talks to his sister, but his main motivation is keeping his family afloat, taking all the responsibility on himself as his mother has gotten sick. I'll save the what happens more with her till the very end, so you can avoid spoilers. But seeing him fight as he gains powers and levels up is definitely entertaining as hell. My favorite character is the sweetest boy, Jinho. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I love him. He is a D-ranked hunter, and he is from a very rich family, so he's decked out in all this different armor, and he's real. I don't know if he's like the black sheep in the family, but he's not being taken seriously. Whether or not that's because of his lower rank or his older brother outshining him, not really sure. He wants to be more involved with his father's business and opening up a guild and getting the respect that he craves, and I love him. He's the sweetest boy, and he ends up meeting Jinwoo and kind of convincing him to help him out with his goals, and I won't go into that for spoilers yet, but oh, I love him so very much. There's nothing else I want to say spoiler free, so a couple little tiny spoiler talks, just talking about pretty much the last episode. Editing Jessica, I completely forgot to mention, so I don't know how I feel about the use of, like, icons in terms of it pops up saying, like, you are fatigued, this amount, this is your HP, these are all your stats, like, in icons while he's fighting, and he's checking them during battles or throughout the day. And on the one hand, it works with the world because it's very much this is a video game. And in a video game, you have these. Or when you're playing D&D, you have your spreadsheet and you're keeping track of what your HP is. Fine. But, like, in terms of writing, it's annoying because you're not showing him get really fatigued, really. He looks at his icon and be like, oh, I'm at 70% fatigue. I can't let it go any lower. I gotta wrap this up quickly. Or my mana's down so low. And he's, like, strategizing how to work with it. And then you have, like, he's gotten money through leveling up that he can use in the system to buy a sword. It's very much visual, it's video game kind of esque. But it feels weird in terms of writing, so it feels like lazy writing, but it's not because it works with the world. I'm bordering on annoyed with it, but also works so well in the world that I don't overly notice it too much. So not sure how I feel. Same thing, like the names of the monsters pop up above their heads before he'll fight them, and if they're like in white, I think it is that they're obviously weaker than him. Orange is at the same level of him, and red is above him, and I don't know, it takes a little bit of the anxiety out of it, because it's like, oh, this is the boss, his name is in red, and it's like, oh, this wasn't the boss, this is someone else, there's a stronger one. I don't know how I feel about it. The use of visual game motives in a series, I can't decide if I'm happy with it or not. So episode 4, I think it was, had that snake monster, and fighting him was really cool. I liked how, as he's doing his side quest, he gets like little experience points that he can put to intelligence or strength or wisdom or blah, 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 blah. And he puts all of them more or less into strength, occasionally going for dexterity and perception, stuff like that, but he's really not focusing on his intelligence at all. It's its lowest skill that he's ranking up or leveling up, and that comes to kind of bite him in the butt when it comes to magic and mana. Or is it called mana in the show? Don't really care. Probably is. It was an entertaining element, and then as the series goes through, he gets to the not final chamber. He goes to accept a job that is essentially placing him in his rank, and he's fighting these suits of armor, and his healing potion isn't working, and he's getting his butt kicked at one point in time, but thankfully he didn't do his daily quest, so he is so lucky. And, like, luck is a huge element in his life, that he gets transported to his, like, penalty zone where he can level up further, he can leveling up heals himself, so it really gives him a second chance for this job. And the fact that he ends up becoming a necromancer, he's like, I haven't been focusing in magic, what the hell? But now he can take the souls of vanquished enemies and make these shadow people, and he's just like, arise. And he's making his own army. Currently, I think he can only hold like 11-ish people in his army, but I'm assuming as he levels up, he'll be able to take in more. And if that is not cool as hell, I don't know what to tell you. So whether or not I call this junk food television or not, it is entertaining as hell. I love the world. It's fun to watch these characters fight. But like, I wish there was more in terms of character development. That B-tier healer, I liked her because it's like, she's very scared. That's why she was always with him in the lower ranked zones and dungeons, when she could have, as a B tier, been into the higher rank ones. She is scared and doesn't want to be hurt, don't want to see other people hurt, so she stayed in the lower tier ones, where her powers were more than enough to heal people. And now you expect for her to kind of overcome that anxiety after the terrifying event of a double dungeon. So they went into the dungeon, found a second dungeon, and that creepy face statue, and we're a pure video game. It is a video game problem solving puzzle box thing going on. And they don't know they're in a video game, so they don't know they're trying to solve a puzzle here. So the game is basically spelling it out for them. Hey, run over here, you idiots. I've been trying to hint towards you to do this to complete the puzzle, but you're all too stupid to do it. And then Jinwoo was like, guys, I think we have to stand in front of these statues because of this thing on the walls telling us to do that. Again, they don't know they're in a video game. They don't know that they're supposed to be solving clues and completing puzzles. It's fine. But she's watching people be obliterated, destruction everywhere, limbs chopped off, dead, vaporized. So she is completely traumatized, has been knocked out and dragged out of the dungeon because she's just so petrified and wants Jinwoo to go with her. But he's lost a leg, so he can't, and she can't heal anybody anymore. So after all that trauma and PTSD stuff going on, she's slowly getting back into the dungeons again, and she realizes how powerful Jinwoo has become and that he can level up. So you think, typically, oh, I will overcome my anxiety, I will continue on, I will strive to better myself. No, she just quits and goes to her hometown, and it's just like, I know we said we'd have dinner, so if you're ever in my hometown, I'll take you out, come on. So for her to just kind of disappear, I don't know if she's going to come back, if we'll go to her hometown, or what's going to happen with her. Yeah, I don't know. So I want her to come back, because I feel like we should complete her story. I didn't like that she left. Jinho, however you say his name, the little rich kid that I adore, sweetest boy. So they had met in a dungeon where they were pretty much just extra bodies. You need so many people to go into this dungeon. And the group that they went with had planned to kill them and take all the money for themselves and beat the boss and all that and leave them for dead or use them as bait to lure out the boss. And Jinho, the main character, ends up slaughtering brutally the human monsters who tried to do that to them. So, like, a little bit of conversation between, like, killing monsters, and he's losing emotions and empathy as he levels up, like, sacrifices are being made-ish. There's a little bit there, but that showing him strength really got the two of them together so they could take on dungeons by themselves, and they just hire a bunch of D and E tier hunters to wait outside and like, all right, you're here because we needed so many people to allow us to go into this dungeon, but you're not actually going in, you're waiting outside, and they clear it by themselves, which is really Jinwoo clearing it by himself, destroying the monsters, leveling up, and then Jinho just collecting all the diamonds and whatever those rocks are to get some money. I love the two of them. I love his family dynamic, and I want to see more. Main character, Buddy, he wants to get to, like, Hell Dungeon, Underworld, whatever, because he can get the elixir of life by crafting 3 things together, but he doesn't know what it is, and the secrets are in there. So he needs to level up to get the healing elixir of life to save his mother. I would have preferred if we got more about the mother, flashbacks before she was sick, her and the daughter, guy's sister, him and mother. Like, I feel like we're missing that emotional core. Because, like, yes, I want you to succeed. I want you to be able to heal your mother. Explains why you're doing this, why you continue to go into the dungeons. And especially after killing that first party, the brother of the leader of that party is now after you. He's a mafia guy who's also an S tier and will come to obliterate you, like the guy told you to flee the country. So he needs to get stronger to survive. He needs to get stronger to get what he needs to save his family. I just wish I had an emotional core to connect him to said family, but again, it's not really character focused. It is flashing lights, fun, action, jingle jingle keys a little bit, but it's entertaining. And again, I love the world. I had so much fun with the world. And the plot, bare bones basic at the moment, but premises are being set up. Interesting things. You have this group of S-tier hunters who have gone off to an isolated island where an event happened that I don't know very many details on, and there are insects and they're evolving in some way. I just watched the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter. Like, I'm all for insects evolving and causing problems. No narrator, please. I do not want a narrator. But I'm excited to see what happens with them, especially because we got a little bit of time with one of the girl S-rank hunters in the first episode, or first 2 episodes, but nothing became of it, so I'm interested to see where she goes. I want to know what happened with these bug things and what they're doing, what their planning is, what problems they'll cause. The mafia guy who's going to be coming after Jinwoo. I'm excited to see where the plot goes. There was nothing interesting about season one's plot, but the world was set up nicely. So I have become invested in at least that element, and I'm interested enough to see where it goes, and I hope it also goes into some more character work. Um, Only 12 episodes, extremely fast paced. Ordinarily, I'm annoyed with 12 episode seasons, but I probably would have dropped this if the pacing was not so fast paced, because it kept me very much entertained. And unless it added a lot of character work within extra episodes, and I'm a little bit hesitant to trust them to do it, then I probably would have dropped it if it was really dragging. So the fast pacing, the cool worlds, cool action, definitely recommend for just a fun time anime. And I'm hopeful for more character work. So if season 2 introduces something to keep me invested, I will definitely continue. All right, that's all I got. Talk to you later. Bye.